Hi, Dr. Dolly. Love your website and podcast. It fills a black hole in medical education. I'm a surgeon in California in my second year of practice. I was talking to an advisor at Fidelity on what to do after maxing out the usual tax advantage retirement accounts. Right now, I have a regular taxable account with ETFs, and that's where I do my additional savings. He mentioned the Fidelity Personal Retirement Annuity. I know the saying, quote, the investment is so bad you can only sell it to a doctor, end quote, so I want to do my research first. It's a 0.25% fee under $1 million and goes down to 0.1% after that, and it has similar ETFs with very low expense ratios. The benefit is all the dividends that are paid out and any rebalancing I want to do come without any taxable events. The downside is I have to hold on to it until age 59 and a half or suffer a 10% penalty. I'm not putting money I may need in until retirement, but is this a good idea to save on getting taxed on dividends? He says that as the taxable account grows, it will similarly generate larger dividends and larger taxable events every year. That said, I don't love the commitment to 59 and a half and the 0.25% fee either. I saw somewhere online that the money I take out at the end may come at a short-term capital gains tax rate instead of long-term, which would be devastating. I'm waiting for their response on this. What are your thoughts on this account? Thank you for your input and keep doing what you're doing.
All right, this is a great question. I really like this question. So this is what happens to doctors, right? They learn about investing, they get all excited about it, and they learn about their retirement accounts and all these good things they have. They max them out, and they're like, you know what? I want to save even more money. What should I do? And so they ask someone who calls themselves a financial advisor what they should do now. And the answer they get depends on what that financial advisor sells. If they're an annuity salesman masquerading as a financial advisor, the answer is an annuity. If they are a whole life salesman and they ask this question, well, the answer is a whole life insurance policy, right? If they are somebody that tries to sell their services to pick stocks, they're told to pick stocks, right? If they do real estate, they're told to do real estate. So you got to keep in mind that that is probably not particularly unbiased advice you got. What we're talking about here, this thing that Fidelity calls a Fidelity Personal Retirement Annuity, this is a variable annuity. That's what this is, okay? An variable annuity has an insurance wrapper around it. It's an annuity technically, but all the returns are based on the investments inside it. And so you got to look at a few things when you're looking at an annuity. This is assuming you want an annuity. Number one, you got to make sure those investments are good. Okay. If the investments are crummy, like the vast majority of variable annuities, if the investments are crummy, you don't want it, right? You want to have low cost index funds and ETFs like you would if you weren't investing inside an annuity. And the other thing you got to look at is the annuity costs themselves, right? These have additional costs. Even when Vanguard was offering, they had additional costs. And so you got to pay some extra fees in addition to the expense ratios on those funds. They call them sub-accounts usually in a variable annuity. But so there's multiple fees there, and you got to look at all those. And you got to make sure that not only are the investments good, but the fees are okay. But before you even get to that point, you got to decide if a variable annuity is right for you. And the answer for most docs is no. It's not the right thing to do once you max out your retirement accounts. The right thing to do is to simply invest in a taxable account. All those fancy annuities and index funds are telling you about in this variable, or fancy index funds and ETFs are telling you about inside this variable annuity, you can actually buy those without the annuity wrapper. And you get the same low costs, sometimes even lower costs. And you don't have to pay those annuity fees. The upside of an annuity is it grows in a tax-protected way. So there's no tax drag as it grows over the years. As that investment kicks off, capital gains distributions, as that investment kicks off dividends, you don't have to pay taxes on them. And so it grows in a little bit faster way. But the problem with a variable annuity, right? You're putting in after-tax money. It grows in a tax-protected way. And when you take the money out, it comes out and you pay taxes at your ordinary income tax rate, not the lower long-term capital gains rate. So because of that, in any shorter time period, you come out behind because you're paying way more on the gains than you would be if you were able to take that money out at long-term capital gains rate. It just takes decades for the tax-protected growth to overcome both the additional costs of the annuity and the fact that you're paying more in taxes when you take that money out. So the right answer for most people, it gives you more flexibility. It gives you a lower tax bill down the road if you just invest in those tax-efficient mutual funds and ETFs. You can tax loss harvest them as you go. You can donate the appreciated shares to charity. You can leave appreciated shares to heirs and get the step up in basis at death. None of that happens with a variable annuity. Now, in some states, you might get a little additional asset protection for that variable annuity. But for the most part, these are products made to be sold, not bought. And most people don't need one. So you probably don't need this. You probably just need to invest in a taxable account. Whether your investing plan calls for, low cost, broadly diversified stock index funds, or, a low cost municipal bond funds, or real estate, or whatever you want to invest in, you're probably better off doing it without the annuity wrapper. And that's just the Fidelity representative selling their product to you. So good question. Appreciate that. If you want your questions answered by the White Coat Investor, record your question at whitecoatinvestor.com/YQA or click the link in the description.
My dad, your host, Dr. Dahl, is a practicing emergency physician, blogger, author, and podcaster. He is not a licensed accountant, attorney, or financial advisor, so this podcast is for your entertainment and information only and should not be considered official, personalized financial advice.